This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Only Friends podcast, and we are getting it poppin' today with an absolute fucking mixed game legend, Brandon Shaq Harris. What's poppin', baby?
Dude, that's like you were really incredible behind the mic.
Well, thanks, man. I'm trying. I'm out here trying. We're just trying to keep things moving around here.
I'm like, just for reference, I'm like a foot and a half away from Conrad, so I got like the front row seat to the intro. It's really nice. Oh,
remember, you have to feel threatened.
I need to feel more threatened by the microphone. This is optimal mic strat, is to feel maximally threatened without a taste.
You have to have threatening aura vibes.
I just don't want Steve to watch this episode and be distraught about the sound.
It's true.
He's a forgiving man,
I understand.
I respect that. Yeah.
We got to get one thing right. It's very apropos.
What the fuck did you just say?
Appropriate.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
That you're the umbrella guy, and it's the one fucking day of the year that it rains in Vegas.
I know. It's crazy.
Amazing.
Parasols too.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Landon took to the parasol right away, which
right
was
away.
He's already on advanced umbrella
strat.
genre strat. Yeah.
Very fucking Poppins over there.
I'm
Listen,
very
man,
unsurprised.
I look fucking great with this parasol.
Yeah, you do. You look very, very wholesome.
Yeah, I am very wholesome.
Very wholesome.
So it fits.
What a shot that is.
This is kind of classic Andon, I would say. We've got we got one Andon with a parasol. I'm going cat themed. I'm very cat themed. We've got the you know,
like your catitude. Ooh.
Yeah.
This is very Andon of us.
This is very Andon of us, and like not at all organized in classic Andon fashion.
Right.
Yeah, just kind of comes to fruition.
How did you two become friends?
The internet has to be.
Did he just like absorb you the way he absorbed all of us?
I got it.
Yeah.
So I mean, kind of.
This all started in the womb. He just consumed his fourth sibling, and then he started doing the same in his social environment. You know, just showed up.
Yeah,
one
I
day.
suppose so. I mean, I guess that's one scenario that that's like that's the only difference between the two of us. I think besides your lack of a skull cap and beautiful hair.
Yeah, it's consumption of the fourth one.
Yeah, I don't. So I've learned of Andon watching the Joey streams, and Joey's really high energy, and they're like 7 hours deep into what were they streaming?
It was the D-Nags Doug Heads Up.
Thank you. And Joey is like,
oh, hello everyone.
Andon's hit a wall. And Joey's like, come on, baby, you got to lock in. And I'm ad-libbing here. But he's like, you got to lock in. And Andon's just like, what, was I not locked? Am I not? He's like, come on, Landon. What are bluffs here? And Andon's just like, really, his eyes are like glazed over, and he's just like pure hit a wall, and he's just listing out ranges in a complete monotone, and I started calling them like sad ranges, because like Joey's getting like super tilted because he's really high energy, and Landon's just like listing out combos like on his deathbed or whatever. And I'm just like, I love this guy. It's so great. It was like so authentic. You know what I mean?
Holy shit, like, look at that hair.
You both look 10 years younger there, right?
Wow.
What has happened to each of you over the last year and a half?
Oh my God.
Well, Joey has a mustache. That's what happened to him.
Landon looks like he's 14 years old.
It's true.
Oh my God.
He like just such an authentic person, and like didn't pander at all, and I really liked it. So I don't know, we just wound up hanging out, got a lot of mutual friends, and very similar people.
From there, he and I started messaging on Twitter, and then Joey, one of the first places I went with Joey on the strip to get food and kind of do the introductional stuff when I first met him was go to Sushi Samba. At the Venetian or the Palazzo. And then the first time that Brandon and I ended up getting food was at Sushi Samba. And every month we were supposed to be going to Sushi Samba. We wanted to start that at the start of this year. Wow, there's just like, I'm going to imagine that this fly is a butterfly instead of an actual fly. But anyways, we were supposed to.
Well played.
Yeah.
No one can see the fly.
I know, only I could, but it was very, very tilting. And we were supposed to go to Sushi Sama once a month.
Mm-hmm.
It is October. We've gone once.
This sounds like the origin story behind a married couple. Like,
I mean, he is my only. I think he might be my only dinner date for the year. Anyhow, like he still like is the league leader in dinner dates for me. Yeah, I was supposed to have 2, like in a random one-off this week.
mm-hmm.
One a friend who was just in town, and then another being like a belated birthday. Both canceled. Both wound up playing poker and got demolished.
Right.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
As they
So
should.
fucking stupid of me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like
No,
change
you're
the
good.
subject.
Oh wait, you canceled both?
So no, I didn't.
okay,
Didn't
okay.
cancel either. There last minute cancellations. Excuse me. Sorry.
Puberty, we get
Puberty.
it.
Yeah. Didn't cancel either, and jumped in a last minute session. That was the first mistake of the trinity of mistakes.
Right.
But I'm not trying to go on this tangent yet. Sorry. Let's go back to the Landon story.
I feel like that's what happens when it gets to adult friendships. Is you have friends that go, hey, like let's hang out, and it's like, yeah, that sounds great. And then 6 months go by and you still haven't actually talked to the person in real life.
Yeah.
I mean, that just happens in real life. That's how you know that you're real friends. If you talk to them again.
This is like the really good filtration process is having friendships where like there's no obligation, and you just can't have people like guilting you because you're not there, you can't make it or whatever. Like being able to pick back up like whenever you see each other and just keep that same energy, for lack of a better kind of phrase.
Keep
is
it
just, like, a
running, keep
beautiful
it
thing.
going.
Yeah,
Keep it popping.
those are the people you need in your life. So
For sure.
yeah.
I appreciate that you got out of the house. I know you're not one to leave those 4 walls that easily.
Yeah, this is true.
This is a big step.
Yeah, I appreciate you helping me with my.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Leaving for social reasons is just like the nut low.
I mean, look at this place that he's made. Like, I know this is your old apartment, but like, you're pretty good at this decorating
that's
thing.
the new one.
Oh, that's the new one?
Yeah,
okay.
this is the new one. Thank you.
You're pretty
Appreciate
good at this decorating thing. It's pretty sick. As you can see, this next one, this is the old apartment, I believe.
Yeah, that one was more. That was like higher
was a
square
big
footage,
project.
pretty epic. Yeah.
Before we get into things, like you have to let us know, like what's behind these umbrellas. As I hold one here.
Yeah, it was kind of a whim, I think, the umbrella purchase, but it was funny because it came like I went from being in pretty good financial shape in spite of like always only having a very like a fractional piece of myself in my best years, and then like classically, this is another way in which we're different is, I don't know, I guess we've both had our missteps, I suppose, but like
This is classic and an irresponsibility.
yeah. I think you're on a better path than I am, but I've stayed the course. So I finally, after selling off, after only having like 35% of myself, like most of the time in my successful years, got close to hitting like 7 figures, and decided it would be smart to diversify, as they say, I suppose. And so like when, and my diversification process was just like various alts, I guess.
Various altcoins?
Yes.
So we were on the gamble. We were on the come up.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, like I failed. Like you couldn't possibly fail a crypto more than I failed. At the same time, had loans out to friends, invested in another friend's juice business, just kind of everything. The juice business didn't do so well. Went under. The loans I kind of had written off. I just had the money to handle them at the time.
Yeah, got a lot of those.
Yeah. And crypto just like shit the bed like consistently, and I tried to be a good bag holder, but I was just max exposed risk wise. So I would just pull out a Bitcoin as I needed it, and each one became
Less and
more and more.
You cost average down instead of cost average up.
Yeah,
right?
100%. So there was a point where I had exited from a really long relationship, moved into that spot that we showed, and in order to pay my security deposit, I could sell my last Bitcoin, which was at like $3,500. That was like max floor, I think.
Okay.
And I also had this silver bar. When I was like a kid, I was like fascinated with the idea of having treasure because we were like so fucking broke. Okay. And then like I got to like ride Pirates of the Caribbean once and saw like that skull guy with all the treasure. And I'm like, oh shit, like that's the dream, right? So like, just to be a dead guy sitting on some, I don't know.
That's the American dream.
Yeah, for sure.
Dead guy with a bunch of silver.
Yeah. So like, yeah. So like, excuse me one second. Shout out to GGF. I'm gonna take a sip. Sorry.
You're good.
So at one point when I could afford it, I bought like these 2 silver bars, and I gave one to Doyle Brunson when he was gonna play his. It was supposed to be his final tournament. I think it was a single draw, like 10K single draw or something like that.
Okay.
And we played together once during the 50K PPC, and like I'm playing with poker players is like, I don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like, there's just something about Doyle. And also, he's a big fan of Raz, which was like my kind of come up game, I suppose, is the one I took to. It's a game that like everyone, it's like a really simple game to learn. And everyone just kind of dismisses it as like game for morons. So, you know, it's fair enough. But but there's a lot of nuance just that people don't bother exploring because it's just such a simple game.
Okay.
And it's his favorite game, or it was at least.
So that was your guy.
Yeah. So we played during PPC, and it was a really cool experience. We had like some good banter. He tried to like squeeze me in this multi-way spot, and like I gave him like a wink, told him I was onto him, whatever, and like he gave me, and then he like I folded like a good hand, and he gave me the wink and put in the raise. You know what I mean? Like, we just kind of started talking, and then the next year I was selling a little bit to PPC again, and I didn't have any left, but he offered to buy some, and I kind of like someone was like, well, why do you want a piece of Brandon or whatever, and he wrote something nice in the comments. I was just like lurking it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is really cool, whatever. Anyhow, so for his last tournament, I'm just like, whatever. People's pasts are their pasts. Don't really. I kind of stay out of the gossip as it is. I don't really know many of like the whatever. I don't.
Yeah.
He's just a legend to me.
Sure,
right?
absolutely.
And I had a really great experience with him. And like that guy is like, I can't imagine being he was really sharp.
Yeah.
You know, it's insane. He's just playing like the highest games at like a really good level.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, people should be like kind of lining up to pay tribute, you know what I mean? So I got these finger puppets from Barcelona that I really like. Didn't bring them. It's so stupid.
Oh, man.
My God.
Didn't even
forget about the finger puppets.
Where were you, Andon? Where were you with reminding me about the finger puppets? Like,
He only remembered to bring fucking 12 umbrellas, but not one finger puppet?
yeah, I had these finger puppets. I got him a card, whatever. And I laid those down, and like I plopped a big silver bar on the table or whatever, and I just wanted to like kind of pay my tribute. I just feel like everyone really should be, you know what I mean? Like, thanks for, you know, what you've done for this game, and like, you're a fucking legend. Anyways, I had one silver bar left after I gave Doyle my other one, and like now I'm broke. I could really use that fucking silver bar.
So Doyle, if you're listening, Brandon would like a silver bar back.
It's okay. I'm like, I've recovered. But I'm like, I got a Bitcoin, and like these things like aren't doing shit for me. You know what I mean? Like, I've just torched like my entire net worth, and then I've got this silver bar, and this is like, you know, meant a lot to me as a kid, like for no good reason. And also like, how do I offload this thing anyways? You know what I mean?
Where are you gonna go for
Don't
this?
get ripped off at the pawn shop.
Yeah. So I sold the last Bitcoin to put down my security deposit, and had like, and then promptly busted the rest of my roll on like smaller stakes. You know, under like whatever, like the
Underground
little
games?
illegal games or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, whatever, the things that are running. And I had like a few $100s left, and I'm like, man, I gotta like decorate my I gotta do something here. And so like I just spent like all my money on the rest of my money on umbrellas I bought, which is very standard for me. Wow. But
That's amazing.
I had like $1,000 left. I spent a lot of it on umbrellas. And then this guy here, this one is the Sprinkles umbrella. it was going like the cost of umbrella is typically somewhere between $25 to $35. That was kind of my budget.
It's a bougie ass umbrella.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how
It seems all right.
stable this is, so I hope I don't want to,
You went
destroy,
like very
$30
modest low on umbrella, which I respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, Matt went like,
Classy.
pretty top line.
Yeah,
you
very
know,
classy
top
with the
line.
plaid.
It's like the
Yeah.
Burberry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parasols aren't cheap.
No.
Conrad went with one of my 2 classic colors, the maroon and the green.
I like
It's a
it.
very like Amelie kind of. I don't know if you're familiar with that movie, like a French film.
I'm not familiar with the movie, but I like the color.
Oh yeah,
As you can see on my
cinematography
sweatshirt.
point. Yeah. Very nice.
Big fan of it.
So, but this is the Sprinkles anniversary umbrella. It's the
Sprinkles is like the cupcake place?
No, just as a thing, as an item.
Like sprinkles as a topping.
Yeah, like
Jimmy's,
Sprinkles
if you
being-
will.
Yeah,
Ah.
the rice of desserts.
Right.
We love a good dessert rice.
Yeah, the colorful rice of desserts. So
It's like it's raining sprinkles.
yeah, it was $150, and I'm like, I cannot justify buying this Sprinkles umbrella. This is something I have to work for. It's
Right,
Everybody
yeah.
has a line in the sand,
yeah.
This is why
yeah.
we grind.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I can put up 5 umbrellas, or I can get the Sprinkles umbrella. This gives me something to work for, exactly like you said, Matt. Like something
is
to
your
grind
goal
for.
umbrella.
Now here we are.
And when I wound up being able to afford the Sprinkles umbrella, it was 75% off those motherfuckers.
It was good.
And then I bought one, and like I swear to God, I bought one, and then the price went back up. Like I wound up buying 2. Yeah,
You
I
have
wound
2
up-
sprinkles umbrellas?
Yeah, the other one cost me like this one was down to like $65, and like they saw someone bought one, and they're like, okay, back 100.
They knew that you had to
Demand
be
was
on
up.
your grind set, You had something to work for, and that was what you were working towards. So once you had enough money to buy it again, they were like, you know what?
Let's reward this guy.
You've completed your quest, and now they can decrease the price.
I like. Yeah. There was a reward. They gave me the discount code. That was
Yeah.
nice. Like
Use discount code.
solid grinding.
Fixing my life.
Yeah.
The audience can't see,
Earned
but
it.
there's like rafters like at the top on the ceiling, so we could like hang umbrellas all the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
We can definitely get some
You
decoration.
really want to
up
like
in
get
here.
to work in here and do some decorating.
Ooh.
There's a
Well, he has a unique space. We can't just like go cop his shit.
Yeah, it's
okay.
true.
that's a form of flattery.
It is.
When you copy somebody else.
It makes me feel like I left my mark. Which will probably be for like again
It's just
tanking your
umbrellas
podcast.
everywhere you go. Just
Yeah,
proud
this umbrella
umbrellas.
reminds me of the day that we had the least amount of viewers. No one started watching no one watches our shit anymore, I guess.
Speaking of umbrellas,
Yes.
it looked like the Phillies was swinging some yesterday. They didn't bring any bats to the game yesterday.
did
What
not.
the fuck happened? Houston just no-nos them. For the first no-no ever in the World Series history.
Second.
Second?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was first.
No, second. It's the first time it was a combined no-hitter.
Oh, okay,
the
gotcha.
first time, I forget who, it was the Yankees that did it.
Well,
Imagine that,
ob-
back in 1956.
Obviously,
Now
Yeah.
they're cowards.
What?
Now,
I don't know
What are
who's
you
pitching?
talking about?
now it takes 5 pitchers to throw no.
Yeah.
Well,
Back in my day,
I was about to ask you, how do you feel about this? Like, how do you feel
it
about
means
the
nothing
stats
to me.
of this?
A combined no hitter is useless.
So it means nothing.
It means literally nothing.
Is that-
the mark of a no hitter of why it's so impressive is because it requires throwing 100+ pitches to do so.
Okay.
A team doing it, it's like, okay, so what? So the other team sucks for a day. Big deal.
All right.
Doesn't mean anything to me.
So it means shit.
Nothing.
We'll tell the people
Wow.
it means shit.
Nothing.
Okay.
I like the Astros for the series again.
What? What are you talking
Yeah, I
about?
know.
You
I was-
asked for one thing
It's
all
changed.
week.
It's all changed.
And guess what happens?
I said Syndergaard's going to get smashed.
Tonight, Syndergaard's coming up.
Yeah, he's going to get smashed.
He's 1-0 in the World Series.
Okay.
2015 back with the METS.
I don't know. Verlander's awful in the World Series too, so maybe
He's
he gets
facing
smashed as well.
Verlander 0-6. The man
Berkey is
is,
sitting under that umbrella throwing shade.
Very nice.
That's what you did there.
I mean, you're trying to tell me that the Astros win tonight.
I think so. I'll bet on Verlander.
Will you?
Yeah.
They're minus 160, I think,
Tonight or
Yeah.
for
for
the series?
tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be. It should be minus like 200. Verlander's fucking good. I don't care if he's 0-6. At some point, he won't be 0-6 anymore.
Well, maybe-
you know what? Bonds didn't perform in the playoffs either until he fucking did.
It's a mental thing, man.
Yeah, and he's
Mental thing.
pitching. It's different.
Is he gonna get over his whatever? It's
He's going to fucking
keeping him
no-hit the Phillies.
holding him back.
He's going to
during the
throw a
World
complete
Series?
game no-hitter like a real man.
Find out.
Do you
Time
know
will tell.
when it comes to like call it professional athletes for any sport, like what the mental coaching looks like? Because it has to exist, right?
I had a sports psychologist in college that was very, very needed.
That was needed for you. He was
very
good at his
needed
job.
for me. Very needed for me.
He was good.
It was a woman, but yes,
Okay,
she was very good.
Okay.
She's like, your coach sounds like he's emotionally stunted. I'm like, he is emotionally stunted.
She's just telling you everything you want to
critical
hear.
of me all the time.
That's great.
She's like, I understand. You're trying your hardest. I'm like, I am trying my hardest.
How much of that do you think was real versus just trying to make you feel better?
It was like 20% copium, 80% helpful.
Okay,
That's pretty
I
good.
would say, yeah,
that's a good ratio.
yeah. It was a lot of getting to the root of what's it called when you self-sabotage.
Is that what you were mostly talking about with her when you were busy like pitching or?
Yeah, because like we would just talk about how like certain things didn't bother me or impact me as a player, but they were very noticeably annoying to my coach. So like I would go 3-2 on a lot of hitters, and I just didn't care because to me the game within the game was the mental wits of hitter versus pitcher, right? And like I was fine nibbling the corners and like missing here and there, trying to get people to chase, and if I didn't, like I go full and then I just groove a fastball inside and hope I tie somebody up. But for my coach, it was just like, Jesus Christ, Matt, 3-2 every fucking batter.
How was your
I'm built for this, man.
How was your overall when it came to like those situations, like being in full count spots, and like did he have a justification to quote unquote be mad, or he was just...
it's not. It's statistically, you perform worse as a pitcher when you're behind in the count. But like for me, I've always been the type to like put the pressure on myself to perform.
Did you?
So
perform
like I probably
worse?
performed worse in 0-2 counts, to be honest.
Just like poker.
Yeah, I actually know I performed poorly in 0-2 counts because we used to get punished if we gave up 0-2 hits, and I did a lot of running.
Have you ever had to? Have you ever had an anxiety dump on deck
No,
during a game spot?
no, but I know. Okay. I have an adjacent story. I don't think it was anxiety driven, but it could have been based off where we were playing. So we got to play in a couple minor league stadiums throughout my college career. One of them being the Wild Things Stadium in Pittsburgh. So we traveled down to the city from Erie. So we go south. And
I'm sorry, but if you have to shit in front of a group of Pittsburgh people, like that just ends your life, right?
It's not public shitting. That's not the problem. So we're playing Cal State on the Wild Things field. It's technically their home field, and I'm slated to start game 2. And we're probably in the 5th inning of game 1, so I'm starting to get into my warm-up routine, my stretching, getting loose, whatever, and I just have a shit on deck that could choke a donkey. I'm like, well,
strong analogy.
I have to evacuate. Austin Power
or
reference.
a metaphor. Or
Austin Power reference. I'm just like, I have to evacuate my bowels immediately. So we're in this minor league stadium, nice facility. You're like, okay, I'm just going to find a bathroom. No big deal. Well, everything was closed. No concessions were open. No bathrooms were open. The whole fucking stadium's just locked down. I'm like, guys, where do we poop? And they're like, well, there's one porta potty outside the stadium. You have to use that. I'm like, okay, whatever. I've been in worse spots. So I go out there, and at this point, like, my cheeks are pinched. I'm kind of like waddling my way there. And I get in the porta potty, and I pick up the lid, and I shit you not,
No pun intended.
The water is literally up to the brim.
Oh.
It looks like a river, like it looks like a riverbank where like the water just kind of cascades out over the side a little bit. I'm just like,
No.
what am I gonna do?
Yeah, no.
Did you contribute?
I did.
No, you gotta go. You can't do that.
I'm a genius.
Oh my god, I'm so like.
Okay.
Ugh.
This is what I'm
Genius
talking.
declared. Genius declared.
This is
Okay.
what I'm talking about performing under pressure. Okay. I got sweat beating down my head because I'm not making it anywhere outside. Like, I'm either going to do this here or I'm going to shit behind the porta john, but like, I'm not getting it anywhere else. So I'm thinking, I'm scrambling, and I'm like, I got it. I put the lid down. I put the top of the lid down, and I make a nest of TP.
I'm surprised there was toilet paper in there.
Oh, there was tons of toilet paper, and I used almost all of it.
Okay.
So I make this giant nest. I shit on top of the toilet seat, bundle it up in the nest, and then give it a little
You put it in the toilet? Oh man, I almost like my respect for you almost exponentially grew. I mean, like, I love you. You know this. But like, I thought you might do the courteous thing and just bring it out somewhere different instead of like pile on to like.
It's not like there are woods
That was a
anywhere.
really nice move that you did with the toilet paper and these things.
I
You're
was
like
just
a
trying to
mama
salvage.
bird.
I was just trying to salvage my own dignity and not walk out with shit water all over my legs.
Oh my
Fair.
god.
A lot of music venue bathrooms like this.
Yeah.
I believe Steve is having flashbacks right now. He would have some stories. Yeah.
We
sure
gotta get
that-
Steve here soon.
Yeah. He gotta come hang out for sure.
Yeah.
That guy's got fucking stories for days.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of Steve and having stories for days.
Not yet. 1 second. If you haven't already, please head on over to WPT, the World Poker, the home of the online World Poker Tour. I completely ruined that.
I fucked
Please,
you up, man. This
I'm
is me.
actually gonna start that over.
Just
Let's
do
do
the
it.
whole thing
I
over.
absolutely ruined that. If you haven't already, please head on over to WPT Global, the online home of the World Poker Tour.
Yeah, baby.
They are absolutely giving it away.
Giving it away.
Giving it away. There we go. WPT Global is sending one person daily to the WPT Championship with a $12,400 package. And
That's a lot of umbrellas.
Wow.
That's a big
A
package.
lot of umbrellas.
That's like 600 umbrellas, if not more. That's
It would
more.
be less.
Those
if it
are
was
very
dispensable.
expensive
more.
umbrellas.
Yeah, hold on.
Scott.
That's
Ooh, you made me-
6,000 umbrellas?
I wonder what those umbrellas look like.
Oh my god.
Yo, let's not make
500
him
apiece.
math in real time.
Okay, so it's actually 342 umbrellas.
All right,
if
that's
you're
not
using the
bad.
average cost of $35 per umbrella.
My math was right there. 6,342, same shit.
Well, if you get the sprinkle umbrellas, you can get 80 of them.
Wow.
You can get 80 sprinkles umbrellas.
What if they're 75% off?
You can get more.
My fault. I fucked it.
Berkey.
I fucked it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
What the
guys.
fuck, man?
What are you want to fucking me for?
What the fuck? You're supposed to win 35 seats for our people.
Yeah, you're
We're down
behind.
to 30.
We're down to
man.
33 now.
I'm grinding tonight. Don't worry.
And Nimi just comes in and you just gonna let Nimi do this shit?
Well, that's what happens when I take a day off.
You can't be taking days off, man. You can't be letting Nimi swoop in, get his second seat. Now, Jamin has 2 seats to give away. Nimi's got 2 seats to give away, and you have nothing.
I gave away 2 seats.
You have nothing for the people right now.
now.
But you're not ahead of anybody right now.
No. But there should. I think we should have a leaderboard.
That's what I'm
for these
saying.
seats.
Yeah. And you need to be at the top of that because we
Berkey
need to give
dropping
our
another
people.
poop and toilet paper into the bowl. What the fuck is going on? Win a seat, Berkey.
I feel like I've told that story too many
Disrespectful.
times. Oh man.
Way too many. Corey asked how many times did fucking Lamata hear that over under 100.
Oh, that story?
Yeah.
That's the first time I ever heard that story.
No
I think it's the
way.
second
That's
time.
literally the first time I've ever
That's
heard
the
that
second
story.
time on air for
I think
sure.
it's the second time I've told it on air.
I wasn't
Really?
going to do what he did to me yesterday and say, you already said this
No, I
story
knew- I
on
knew
air.
I either wasn't here or I zoned out for that one because I don't remember that story.
No, I knew that I had.
an
It's
incredible
impossible to be on 100 episodes with Melissa talking about shit every single day and not tell your best shit story. Like it's literally not feasible.
That is so true.
Shout
That
out,
is so
Melissa.
true. So, Brandon, you got a little documentary that came out, huh?
Yeah, I did a little something.
It's pretty dope. So if you guys haven't seen it already, Brandon's came out with a documentary. It's called Shaq and Steve.
Well, it's not. I didn't come out with it.
He did an episode for
Did an episode for
a docu-series.
Okay.
Right.
What's the name of the docu-series?
Last call.
Last Call.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Their episode is called Shaq and Steve, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's just basically about your introduction to poker, kind of, where you started, and how you got to where you are, really.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a weird story. It's a weird ride how it takes. It seems like you were very into music at the beginning.
Yeah. Cut the shits. Tell us about Muse.
Oh, wow. The man wants to go straight into it. He wants to know because, like, basically this episode was about you getting the string. What do we call it? Give me one of those white people.
Yeah.
Stringing them along.
There you go. You got
the carrot
strung
in front of
along.
the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got strung along from Muse, it seems.
The hot girl saying they're interested
Yeah,
in you.
yeah.
And then,
Your experience with Muse sounds like every
ghosting
dating
you.
experience I had in high
Yeah.
school.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I know you're out of my league. I know you're. No. We want you. We like you.
Right, yeah.
You're interesting.
So basically, you had a friend. You were working PR for bands and stuff, and
Yeah.
they told you about Muse.
Yeah.
and whatever, you found out they were doing a show close by.
Yeah.
And you went to go, and you brought your keyboard to the show?
Yeah. I'm
That's a power
I'm
move.
a massive loser.
It's a very Andon thing.
Yeah.
That's Andon move,
Trying to
yeah.
make the most of our dead times is true.
That sounds amazing, by the way. I think that like if you're there standing in line, the guy's just playing piano, playing a keyboard, and people ordering pizza and hanging out, and like that sounds awesome.
No, it sounds super dope.
Yeah.
But what you just brought it to like pass your time? Were you looking to like play for them or something?
Yeah,
or
it's
it was just for you.
Yeah, just a me thing. So there was, I guess, like a small mistake in this documentary where there's a cellist group that I've been friendly with for a long time, and they were touring in Detroit, and Muse were touring in Detroit the very next day. So I think on there it says that these bands were touring together, and it'd be convenient, but they were just touring the same city. I was friendly with this band. So the next day I'm like, oh fuck, great opportunity to see this band that I'm really into. They hadn't played in the States before. They just toured overseas. So these shows were going to be really small. They were like selling out like big arenas overseas.
Sweet.
And just playing really small venues in the States, which is a fucking amazing opportunity. And me personally, when I see a show, I haven't seen a show in so fucking long too. It's like disturbing, but I used to see them all the time. And whenever I did, I always wanted to be like right up front, got to know like all the songs, and just like a full immersive experience. You know what I mean? I want to be like right up front, like just like this fucking mic. I want to feel attacked. You know, like 24/7.
You want to feel threatened?
Yes. I want to feel threatened. So, typically, if you want to sit up front, you're gonna wait in line for a while, and I just brought the keyboard to pass the time. Really.
Sweet. So whatever, you go to the show. After the show, they invited you. I'm sorry, they were doing a meet and greet.
Yeah.
And you went to the back of the line. You want to speak. You want to get more time talking to people, and eventually they invited you out to a bar to speak about whatever music or whatnot. And it seemed that at the end of that, they were interested in you playing for them.
I just to set the record straight or whatever, and I'm sorry if you've had to hear this, me explain this stuff. Like, my friend Andy was like, next time someone wants to hear the music, like it's. I understand, like it's a really weird way to get into poker, and it's definitely like it was like a fork in the road. You know, as you said, Conrad, like a fork in the road in my life or whatever. But, for some people, I mean, like it's like kind of a redundant story, I suppose. And my friend Andy was like, dude, next time someone wants you to talk about Muse, like just send somebody in there with a beanie and like just let them go for it. Yeah.
Get a stunt double.
But anyhow, so I was never in this band. There were discussions made, or discussions had, I suppose. What wound up happening is, I spoke with them at this meet and greet. Said I was going to go wait outside, let them do their thing. If they felt like talking more, like I'll just be out there waiting. My girlfriend didn't want to go out in Detroit at the time. She went with me to see this cello rock band. She was going to stay in. She was going to come pick me up. So I go wait outside there. I'm not expecting anything. And Matt sees me, invites me to this bar to talk, kind of was asking me about what I was trying to do in music. And the project that I was working on was, I was really into like these immersive experiences. Like I wanted to make something that involved all the senses. Maybe like there's a progression of smells, like chimney smoke I associate with this grouping of songs, and then the next one would change to this or whatever. Maybe like, and there's there's a lot of touch, there's contact, like there's a lot of movement on stage. So it's supposed to be like a sensory overload kind of thing, kind of a choose your own adventure kind of thing too. I just like really like gimmicks and themes and turning everything into a big experience. So I was like kind of sharing these things. He was telling me about his project, or like what they were trying to do with their next record. And I just what they were trying to do sounded like more than they could do, unless they used something called MIDI, which is just where you like click a pedal and it plays the extra parts that you can't play physically.
Ed Sheeran does this.
Yeah.
A
lot of
with
people.
the shape of
So
you.
I just asked him, I'm like, hey, are you gonna like use MIDI for this next thing, or are you looking for people or whatever? Just pure innocent question. He's like, oh yeah, I think we're gonna bring in someone else. I'm like, oh cool, well what are you looking for? And he's like, well, you. And I'm like, what the fuck?
This is like a really weird moment because they haven't heard you play, right?
Yeah. They don't. Yeah, it was just He's just heard me talk, which is again why it's a huge reach to ever like really associate myself with this band or whatever. But
I mean, from the stories that you give here, I mean, it's not that far of a reach. Like, it seems like, so whatever. You go on, you start learning their music, whatnot.
Yeah.
And you reach out to them a few times. No response.
Yeah.
You find out they're playing in a festival down the block or an hour away or something like that. So you go to this festival and you see, I believe it was the drummer or the electrical engineer.
Yeah, I saw both of them. Yeah. Good
Okay,
memory.
the main guy, Matt, didn't have a good show. He goes off into the van, upset. And they told you to wait by a tree.
And you sitting there like a dickhead. And you wind up just sitting there.
So how long did you? I didn't know how long, because this sounds like a bunch of shows went on. Like, how long did you?
I mean,
wait
it's
by
what it sounds like. Like when you're picturing like the sad guy sitting next to a tree like a fucking loser, like that's what it was. While The Cure is playing in the background of all bands.
It sounds like a
Like-
scene out of like a rom-com almost.
Yeah, I mean it's
This guy
as
gets
bad
dumped
as
by,
it-
guy
it's
gets
as,
dumped by
like,
girlfriend,
pathetic
sits
as
by
it is.
tree,
Yeah, it's-
Cure playing off in the distance.
umbrella hanging over his
It
head.
sounds like the only thing that could make it worse is if rain was there. With no umbrella.
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where this came from, my subconscious, like just picturing that kind of
Low
scenario.
key though,
So-
like you're kind of into this whole scene, right? Like
into like the sad
yeah,
part
this
of the
like
story.
dark, sad scene that we're portraying right now. Like it kind of hits home.
Oh yeah, I'm not like I really have a deep appreciation for all like the massive I really like man, I don't want to say immersing again, but just like having an experience, like a deep experience that like kind of hits the cliche points of sadness or happiness or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Very Andon.
Yeah.
If I'm sad and I can like I know that I am going to be able to listen to like the worst thing humanly possible and like put myself in a situation where I can explore a feeling as deeply as possible. I will take that opportunity.
I find it strange
lends a lot
that
of
people.
perspective.
I find it strange that a lot more people don't feel this way, right? Like I think.
Scary.
Yeah, but I think it's strange, right? Like most people, when they're sad, they are trying to do everything within their power to regress back to neutral.
Yeah.
And when they're happy, they're trying to cling to that moment for as long as possible. But it's
Yeah.
like it's almost impossible to experience full happiness if you're not willing to also experience the depth of sadness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you have a choice where you can either always regress to the mean and try to get back to zero, or you could just feel the extremes for as long as they're willing to play out, knowing that you're going to regress back to zero anyway.
Well, so where I would go with that from the sad part is how long can the sad part stay sad? That's scary.
Not forever.
Right.
Same as happiness. It's all fleeting.
It is fleeting, but the joy of happiness can lead to mostly positive future things.
You're saying like happiness perpetuates by positive momentum and sadness perpetuates with negative momentum.
It's very easy to have that be the case, yeah. Because when you're sad and you're trying to be as extremely negative and feel as negative as possible, there are ways to call it sabotage the sadness to then take actions that will make you more sad.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of this stuff is true. I just know personally, like I'm very much like you, where I delve into the extremes, and it's like if I'm sad, I'm listening to the softest, corniest
Dermot Kennedy.
Yeah, Dermot Kennedy and Louis Capaldi is just like I'm lifting to this shit.
He's just like, man, this Louis Capaldi song is so fucking good.
Right, because like you hear it differently. Like when you're happy and you hear that music, you're just like, fuck is this guy going on about? Like, grow up.
Listen, man,
You know?
I'm the same. This is a very Andon thing to do, because when I was in college and I was very sad, as I was most of the actual school year, probably my first full year, I got into sports betting briefly, and I remember betting with a sports book through a frat and it not going well.
Wait, hold on. The frat had a fucking sports book?
No, that's a
That's a power
sharp
move.
frat.
Hell yeah.
So anyways, I would have some weeks where I would just kind of always stay even. For the entire summer, I was kind of betting on baseball with a friend and would stay even. And then one day tried to bet a ton on the Little League World Series. And I bet a bunch on South Korea to beat Hawaii.
That's
and they
bad.
didn't.
Mm.
And from there, just one example, after losing and after being sort of sad that didn't go well, I went downstairs to the vending machine. They had a little lounge area with a TV and candy and like snacks and garbage. And I just emptied out the vending machine of all of the soda, all of the Sour Patch, and then dumped the Sour Patch into the soda, drank the soda, ate the Sour Patch Kids that was imbued with the soda after, and just allowed myself to go to the darkest depths of what I was feeling, and then just slept it all off after the fact. And I woke up and I was like,
I would sleep too for a very long time
what the
if I put
fuck am I
fucking
doing?
Sour Patches in soda.
It's so
Sugar
good,
coma.
dude.
That is
Yeah.
disgusting.
I mean, there's something to be said, I think, about like the healing effect of catharsis. You know what I mean? Like, just being able to like experience sadness in general is gonna help you move on from it, I think, and also find like just simple joys and maybe sad things still that are like that just contribute to getting you out of there, or just aren't like appreciation for sad things that aren't as bad as like what you were experiencing before. You know what I mean? Like, just give you perspective to like, I don't know, whatever. I'm not trying to like turn this into a big, of course, like again, classic me, like fuck up every investment and turn everything into a misery party. Like, let's go.
Some of the best like art and music has come out of like sadness, though, right? Like,
I also
just pure emotions.
I also think like
People write their best
our generation came from that like whole emo culture too, and it's yeah, like I didn't assign myself or align at all with emo culture growing up, but like I listened to all the music and it registered with me the same way it did with any angsty teenager. And when I think about it, like the complexity of human beings and how weird we are in the sense that we're built with these logical minds, but we're also just driven by these irrational emotions. It seems incomplete to spend all of your time trying to avoid a certain half of the spectrum, right? So it's like, I don't know. I find a lot of like, I don't know that pleasure is the right word, but I find like a lot of self-discovery in sadness, and not just sadness, like in pain and intolerance and in anger and all of these emotions that feel shallow if you don't ever explore them. And most people don't because they are uncomfortable.
I think that
right?
it's because those emotions are classified when we're younger as things that you don't want to be. So as soon as you experience those things, the quickest solution, so to speak, is, okay, how do I become as level or back to normal as possible? When in reality, trying to fix it in that way doesn't actually work and makes it worse.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of things. I totally agree with that. And also like the ideology that just people don't like being sad, I guess. But the interesting thing is, like, as poker players, we have to like rein all that back. And when we're doing really well, not be too high about these experiences, because we need to be able to prepare ourselves for when things don't go so well. So when we think we're like the fucking shit and like start telling everybody how they should be playing all their hands and, you know, sharing our graphs, oh my God, that was like I was gonna be like, what is the worst jinx of all time? Why exactly did I get buried last night? And like the main reason was not Taco Bell. It was not Taco Bell. I fucking showed somebody my graph.
Right.
Haven't been doing it. Haven't been doing it.
Yeah.
Actually, Andon was the last person to see it, and that was a long time ago.
Dude,
and then
that was a long time.
that was a long time ago. Yeah, and you know,
The Twitter.
the gods smote me back down to where
The Twitter jinx is real. When you're running deep in a tournament, you're one of 45. You're guaranteed to finish not at the final
I
table.
don't know, man. The first time that I ended up doing that for the Venetian tournament, when there was like 36 left going to dinner break, I was convinced that there was no shot I was losing that tournament. And I updated on Instagram story, did the whole Twitter stuff, like final two tables, final table, like
You
I'm
know
winning.
why, right?
It's because I wasn't broken by the game yet.
Congratulations. Congratulations. You knew exactly why.
That like there's no shot I'm gonna lose. That's fucking strong. When everyone like starts placing like side bets in WSOP or whatever, like I'm not like the anti-sweat kind of person in general, but like I'm never betting against the person who like who's laying bracelet bets, like that convict, like not the ones like that have conviction behind them, like that are filled with like feelings of spite. You know what I mean? They're like, fuck you, motherfuckers. Let's let you know. The half-assed ones are like, here, I'm posting my thing to Twitter. Yeah, destined for failure, for sure.
I
Everybody missed out on some
Here's your
free money
convictions,
with
Landon.
me.
I think that sealed the deal.
I agree. I didn't have enough spite. Spite's a very powerful motivator.
Spite is a very powerful motivator.
Yeah, as much as I like don't mind everyone saying how awful I am, like, and I will pile on to that. I'm definitely very driven by spite. Like secret, there's a lot of secret spite.
That's
Like, I'm fucking terrible. I'm the worst. Blah 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 blah. Motherfucker.
Keep talking your shit.
I can't wait to get into that, you motherfuckers, when we wrap it around back to poker.
Yeah, fair enough.
But so just going back to this.
Yeah.
You were waiting by a tree.
Yeah, waiting by the tree.
Stood by this tree for
3 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
Wait here, son. That's what they said.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
We're coming for you.
Yeah, it comes with the we'll be right back with the Eric Andre music, like the dun 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 dun.
Oh,
and
no.
Yeah.
All right. So whatever. You go home. Another year goes by or something like that.
Yeah. Sounds
Your
about right.
roommate Chris says, "Hey, Muse is playing down the block."
Yeah.
You know, you're right. Cool. In.
Yeah. No, not
Well,
He was not in.
No.
It wasn't in. You got.
No.
Eventually, you got
Yeah.
convinced into going.
Yeah, begrudgingly in.
Okay.
Yeah.
fine.
Explain that, like what what happened there
Uh,
that night.
okay, yeah, for sure. Just what you said, pretty much. Is like, hey, dude, like it's been a year. I'd forgotten about that. I don't know if you want to talk at all about like how I got into poker thing, because they showed me poker, I guess. And when we first met, I'll just say real quick, super fast. Like when we first met that first time, went to the bar. They invited us to a few more shows in the Midwest. I was with my girlfriend Selena at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we wound up like kind of getting to know each other in the backseat of the tour bus. And they were really into poker. That's just what they did. And I thought poker was fucking stupid. It's like, same with fighting. It's like the idea of like hurting another person doesn't appeal to me, but like, they're just things like the creative aspects
What
of
year
it
was
that-
this?
2006.
Yeah, 2006. Thanks, Conrad.
No problem.
The
I'm here.
man.
I'm here.
Good job. So it was, I think, shortly after Moneymaker, something like, I don't know what year Moneymaker was, but they got
2003
really into
was
poker around
Moneymaker.
then.
Yeah. So like that boom was happening. You're like right in the middle of the boom.
Yeah. And I remember like him being like, oh, I won a $100 pot from Robert Smith or something like that.
Yeah.
Lead singer of The Cure. So they were playing during this festival. Anyways, he had asked me if I'd ever played, and wasn't interested, but showed me the rules. And then when I went back home to figure out how to play all their songs, I figured I'd learn poker, because the other two guys in the band weren't really like super psyched about the idea of having another member. They'd been a three-piece for so long.
So you thought it'd be a great way to mold.
Yeah, I don't want, I don't want people to think I'm trying to infiltrate their band. I don't like disingenuous people. I don't like fake friendly people. I don't like, one of the main things I don't like about the private scene is watching people like pander and like just all the dumb bullshit.
Yeah.
I can't take it.
Sure.
Everything needs to be like very genuine, and you want the people that you like, you want their friends and their family to like you too. Like authentically. So that's how I felt. So I figured I'd learn to play as well. And so at this point, I was frustrated by the idea of looking at music at all. I figured out a really hard piano piece. I sent it to him. Matt, their singer's best friend, Tom, he does all their media content and he's their manager. Very nice guy. Sent him this piano piece. Really proud of it. It's really hard. Then just stopped playing and started playing more poker. And so I kind of wasn't playing much music, and Chris was like, dude, Muse is playing at Metro, which is like a few blocks away from me. I'm like, cool, have fun. He's like,
enjoy.
He's like, you should really come. I got 2 tickets, and eventually he talked me out. Went down there, saw Tom on the line. He's like, oh, hey, Brandon, you should come hang out. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can fuck yourself.
I'm like, looking for trees and shit. I'm like, where am I going to camp out this? And they play the show. It's good. I see Tom. Tom takes me backstage. Matt comes out, and he like, oh, there he is. Comes, gives me a hug. Oh, I saw that piano thing, blah, 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 whatever, all this shit. I'm like, I'm so mind fucked right now. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, a lot of time has passed, and yeah, so
it seems like it seems like every time that you interacted with them, it was 1 year at least that went by.
Well, I guess, yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, there are like 3 separate kind of blocks of something like that. So yeah, invite us to this hotel, see Matt, what's going on? Like, you want to talk? This is like a long time coming. I just want to know what I'm doing with myself. Oh yeah, we're all hanging out, just hang out, whatever. Fuck, I'm fucking raging inside. Fucking raging. Andon's like just made the face like that fucking, you just like, I just looked over and you're making like this like kind of evil face, and like that's what's like in my head right now. Yeah, just like super rage. Even though you were just casually looking with your parasol, looked great. I talked to Tom. I see him after a wait for an hour. I'm like, dude, I'm out of here. I talked to Tom. I feel like I've been a really good sport about everything. Haven't been bitching. Haven't been like, this is what this guy keeps saying to me. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? You know, nothing. I'm just keep it to myself, whatever. And now I just like, I need to get off my chest. So I'm like, dude, like, he keeps saying like this kind of shit to me or whatever. Like, said some things that like probably shouldn't say to somebody who you're going to ignore or whatever. I'm not trying to be in your fucking band. It's nice to meet people you share a common interest with. If you don't want to do it, cool. Just tell me so I know what to do with my time. It's just sitting there by the fucking tree that like I can't. Like, don't do that to somebody. You know what I mean?
You can't shake it. Yeah.
You've already experienced max tree sadness. You don't have to do it again.
Can't take it. So he's like, yeah, you know, and like what he said to me is his own business. So just whatever. Just gave me kind of his interpretation of the situation. And see Matt, and I'm like, good to see you, man. Heading out. He's like, no, let's go talk. So we sit down, and my buddy Chris is sitting behind me in a booth, and I'm just talking to this guy for a couple hours, and he's just like, yeah, we had a really kind of traumatic experience we played our biggest show ever at Glastonbury or something like that. I don't know. And drummer's dad passed away, and we really bonded as a 3-piece. And I just reiterated what I said to Tom. I'm like, I'm cool. Like, it's just nice to meet people you share a common interest with, whatever. I'm going to do my own thing, you know, whatever. It's nice to be able to bounce ideas off of people who are doing who like similar things, whatever. And he said some things that I'm just embarrassed to say again. And where then he's like, we're going to record in New York. So no matter what happens, you know, it'd be good to have you come down there and just hang out, check out the session, and see how, you know, maybe we do something, whatever. Yeah. I'm like, cool. Well, you know, let's just let's just be friends and keep in touch. Send me their address, whatever. And, you know, time passed again. And during the Cure tour, their bassist broke his wrist, and another guy in a band that they grew up liking, his name's Morgan, he filled in for their bass player.
Okay.
And they wound up like using him for keyboards. Although he uses MIDI for like the hard songs, so what the fuck, right? but he can sing at least. I can't sing for shit.
Okay,
so,
okay.
Whatever. Anyhow, they released something on their website, new song. Wasn't my cup of tea, I guess. And then found out that they were using this guy. Sent Matt a email, like, dude, like, would have been nice to find this out from you instead of hearing about it on this. Good luck with your disco rock band. The end, whatever.
Was that like the worst insult that somebody can get in their position?
I don't know. He made the song. Like, there was like this phase where like all these bands started like infusing like disco with their shit. Like there's a band called Glassjaw. Like it's like a hardcore band, I guess, from New York. And like they started a band called Head Automatica that was like really like poppy and disco-y. And then Supermassive Black Hole with Matt and like this Prince infused thing. And then some other bands. It like was kind of a thing, but the thing was like 10 minutes after I sent that, like I get a reply back. And
No
it's
way.
Like, come on, Brandon. Like, no need to be like that. Hopefully we'll see you blowing us off stage in the near future or something like that. And I'm
What
just
in
like,
the fuck?
I'm like, I wrote back like the death letter. So
Yeah.
need to be like that, motherfucker. Like,
Yeah,
fuck you.
Yeah. All this, you've been
whatever.
holding this in for so long.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Just kinda,
I just like
let it
couldn't
out.
believe it. Like
Yeah.
just being like ghosted for so long and tried to be a good sport about things. But this is 20 fucking years ago. Like
That's
I've done
wild.
plenty of things I'm embarrassed about. I haven't been my best self, whatever. I'm sure I'm far from it still,
Yeah.
but I don't know. We all handle things differently. So
Right.
I don't care about any of it. Like it makes me sad that I don't really like enjoy the music they make now as much as I did before. And it has nothing to do with their personality. It's just changed.
Is this because it would have been way better if BSH was in it?
No, and it worked out too. Honestly, like I'm not the best fit for the music they wound up making. I liked the stuff the way it was, and it kind of went like poppier and like softer, and it wasn't really for me. So
I'm sure it was.
I just didn't know how to handle the.
From a perspective standpoint, like being on the other side of, call it the Muse standpoint, because if this was 20 years ago, they were probably what, 25.
Well,
Like,
Exactly.
Like
That's
they were-
exactly.
So like if you look at it from the sense of the people that were involved were 20 years younger.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
It's a tough conversation to have where it's like, hey, I really don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but at the same time, saying nothing is much worse than
Yeah.
just saying what it actually is.
Yeah.
Because now you're left in this mystery of what the fuck's going on, where now you're playing this game of, am I going to go stand by a tree again?
Yeah,
That
that's,
glimmer of hope, like, really fucking
Hope is a
can
powerful
really
drug.
kind of like fuck you up. You
that's
know
a
what I
very
mean?
mature take that Landon has. But the
100%.
reality is, imagine how many women they did that to.
Stand by the tree?
Yeah. Imagine how many women there are across the nation standing by a fucking tree, just waiting to come get
Play
picked up.
keyboards
after,
from Muse.
No.
Yeah. A lot of keyboarders out there.
Maybe play a little flute.
Or the fiddle. It's the fiddle. All right, there you go. You're learning. We'll get you there.
Classic tree fiddle.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's like people who do this thing tend to do this thing when it benefits them.
Was there any
regardless.
post-nut clarity going into this session, this podcast today? Or you got something on your mind?
No. What are you talking about?
I don't know. Are you gonna go and look up like groupies on Pornhub after this?
No.
It's
No,
true.
I'm just saying, like, the way that they treated you is the way that a groupie would be treated.
Just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
triple N, Matt. You got to fucking stay the course.
What's triple N?
No, not November.
Yeah.
All right, well, wrapping it around to poker.
I was not gonna suck that dick for what it's worth. Wasn't that. Keyboards.
Not for just
maybe
keyboards.
play guitar.
Yeah, right.
Fine.
Like, if
Guitar
you're a
would've been
front
fine,
man,
yeah.
perhaps. But
So fuck Muse now. We're wrapping it. We've gone into poker. You start grinding these $5 games, like mixed variants of poker, I believe.
Yeah. I was short stacking no limit at first, playing a limp strategy, an all limp strategy.
okay,
Look at
let's
that.
go.
Mhm.
Okay.
Let's fucking
What,
go.
what year was this?
2006. Yeah.
Limping is
Yeah.
pimping, baby.
So
Yeah.
now we found out who the real fucking originator of the limp
That's right.
is.
Limping ain't easy.
I played the worst strategy, but I did limp, and everyone did bet.
The originator was Tough Fish. I don't know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
yeah, you're right.
Damn it!
But I wouldn't rat hole. I would just play until I felt like my image sucked, and then I would leave. And I was like making like $1,000 a day, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, where did this come from? You know what I mean? And I didn't want to believe that this money existed, so I just like left it on NetTeller, which was kind of like the way to get money online at the time. And then I had like a really small bankroll for full tilt because I just buy in for $200, so I didn't need to leave much on there. And then NetTeller went down, and then my money was frozen, and I'm broke.
We all went through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember those times, Landon?
When I meant us 40-year-olds went through that.
Yeah. Fading net teller is nice. That's a nice one that you'll just have no.
I don't even know
No
what the
idea
fuck
what
net
you-
teller is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
net teller
yeah.
was nice, man. I had a net teller bank card, like
Yeah, that-
debit card.
Yeah,
That thing
could withdraw
sucked.
$600.
Yeah.
Max $600
Oh,
withdrawal.
you could take out cash, but like anytime you ever tried to use it at like Best Buy or something, they're like looked at it like, what the hell is this? And they wouldn't accept
Oh,
it.
sure.
What
So many
is
times.
it?
It's like
just a third
PayPal. It
party.
was like PayPal
It's just a
for
payment
Yeah,
processor?
yeah.
Yeah.
Only
Like,
in Europe now.
Can you
It-
imagine
it's-
being a poor guy and then going to like Vaughn's and then like withdrawing $600 in 20s?
It was
It's
like, yeah.
holy
It was like
shit.
the easiest way to
It's a game changer.
get money like onto the online sites and then off and then like so yeah, it was kind of like PayPal in that
Basically
way.
what Conrad does now with prepaid credit cards at 7-Eleven.
Conrad does not use prepaid credit cards, and he has not used prepaid credit cards to load online since like 2015,
Come on, man.
2014, like Sportsbook.
Come on, you don't gotta say face.
No.
I know what you're doing on Global. It's fine.
Conrad's getting that ad drop revenue. Are you kidding me?
Wait, hold on.
Conrad's-
Global does have basically a net teller card.
Yeah.
It's not one of those 7-Eleven cards, but it is a net teller card. It is true.
So my money was seized when Neteller went under for like
UGI,
yeah. My money was seized. And
This
then,
wasn't Black Friday, right?
No,
no,
before.
no,
This is
no.
before Black
yeah.
Friday.
So like on the same vein of like being resentful at music for what happened with Muse and going straight to poker, I was resentful of No Limit when my money was frozen and went straight to mixed games. I'm like, I don't want to be broke again. Like playing fucking No Limit sounds awful. I'm terrible at it. I just like everyone's just bad or whatever. I think I had like a full month of where I just made money at like, I made like 30K or something like that in a month, and I just couldn't believe it. And I'd never seen money like that, and I wouldn't for quite a while because I just left it on there and then it was gone. But yeah, I borrowed $5 from another Raz player, and I'm like, I'll give you this $5 back. I'm just gonna grind Raz for a month and see how it goes. And I just I would pay my rent in one variant, and then the next month I would play stud and pay my rent, whatever.
And you were
Like,
doing this online?
yeah, just like such a kind of a waste of time, you know what I mean? Like I'm just always doing like, I don't know, very bad decisions when it comes to time management, but it was
Classic Andon.
Is
behavior.
it really? You're really fucking good. Like it's incredible to me, like you and Henry, like how the
Henry's
question.
not an Andon.
Yeah, but Henry is a young, very smart, thoughtful,
Yeah.
person in this industry, and you guys ask a ton of questions, and you guys have expedited the learning curve that it took us many years to go through. Like you get all the things that you have to learn, you get them harder than we did, faster, but you like learn the lesson quicker too. You're just and you ask a lot of questions, and whatever. Very impressive. So like, definitely not worried about you.
Formerly Andon things.
Habit, yeah. I think you've gotten stronger in many ways. Yes.
The new generation has a
Yeah.
complete unfair advantage when it comes to this game. They are so ahead of the learning curve that we saw.
Yeah.
Like it's just like they're years ahead.
I appreciate the sense of urgency though. Like I think the games where like the landscape was so forgiving back then, like we could just be really kind of like complacent and like slow about everything, and younger generation kind of understands that these games are not easy, and they really have to scramble to like start understanding a lot of things in order to beat it. And so I would say that like had we had, I don't know, I think they have like a really productive attitude approaching poker in the first place. Either they're gonna get weeded out like immediately, or like they'll probably wind up like finding a way to do pretty well.
For sure. So you're playing Raz now, you're online.
Yeah.
You're playing this hand against some random gentleman, and you're drawing to a 9. You're drawing to a 7. He's holding a 9. You brick out. You put in 5 bets on 5th Street. You brick out. Do. Next thing you know, the message goes into the chat, and it's a Pro Poker Labs link where you basically you were just showing the equity that you were ahead on 5th Street where you put in all the bets. And somehow this garnered to be your best friend now.
Yeah.
Steve Albini.
Yeah.
So go on. How did you meet Steve after that? Like,
We both posted in the stud forums on 2+2, and then at some point, I don't know. Black Friday hadn't happened yet. Yeah, we met in 2008. I just asked him. I never played a live game yet. I knew he was in the area. I think I just asked if he knew any live games, and he was like, "Oh yeah, host one with a bunch of music guys. You should totally come." And I showed up, like struggling to talk and remember what cards I had, I guess.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I laughed at enough jokes and gave enough money away that they invited me back. And that
Did you guys bond more over music or poker or both?
Definitely poker. Didn't ask a lot of music questions.
Yeah.
I don't know that he heard about my music background for a while. I think poker is just something that he's been interested in for forever, and having somebody available who didn't need to like go to work, who was playing professionally. By then I had kind of gotten back up on my feet. Was when we're similar kind of people as well, I suppose. Like, was appealing to him and great for me. Like, the whole kind of, I don't mean to say this, I guess, because he is my best friend and I consider him like a brother, but like the father figure aesthetic wasn't something that was always prevalent in my life. And it's something that has kind of seeking older male figures for advice or these kind of things have kind of historically backfired on me in a few ways. And it's something that he kind of filled that hole for me, I suppose. Yeah.
Sweet. So you go to your first live poker game. It's at Steve's recording studio. You don't know who Steve Albini is. Did I say it correctly?
Albini, yeah.
Albini, okay. He's an absolute legend. I did about 5 minutes of Googling about him. He was a producer for Nirvana, I believe.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other bands, and he's just an absolute legend in the music scene.
Yeah.
So you go to this game. It's a quarter game.
Yeah.
And were we talking about 25 cent?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then after pizza,
Yes.
got kicked up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
$1.50.
Yeah.
All right, so shit's popping now. You go through that. You and Steve start going to games, grinding and whatnot. Then you eventually go to the Horseshoe to play 40-80. How did you get from grinding the small 25 cent games to the 40-80 game? And like,
it was a long grind, I think at one point I won Sunday Horse. Sunday Horse was like a $200 buy-in tournament on Full Tilt every Sunday, and that, like, for mixed games, that was like what everyone got excited about.
Yeah, that was like the tournament of the week.
Yeah. So
How much was that, like, prize pool wise?
a little over 10K, But won that, and I was at that point I was just open sitting Raz all day, I guess. I was just grinding Raz all day long. So like just heads up Raz for the most part.
what stakes were you playing?
It's like 15, 30, 30, 60, whatever. It's funny when you mentioned the equity spot, I thought you might be talking about, I thought you somehow found out about this time where, like, I shot took for my first time in Raz. I played like 100, 200 against this guy who had quit me. And like, I knew all of his little habits. When he 3-bets, he has this range. When he caps, he has this, like when he just calls a 3-bet, blah, 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 versus cap, all his different ranges, these kind of things. I felt like I could see his cards, and I just got like fucking demolished. And I didn't move down for a long time because I was just happy he gave me action. He was playing a friend of mine on the other table who was slaughtering him, and I'm just like getting the shit kicked out of me. And I'm like, I know what he has, there's nothing I could do. And then I dropped down really late. Eventually, the next day, I've got like $5 left in like a $5 sit and go, and I'm just like trying to be like kind of stoic throughout all of this or whatever. I'm like, fuck, this sucks, whatever. And then like I play this $5 sit and go, heads up Raz sit and go to try to rebuild. I start the rebuild. You sleep it off.
Yep.
You got like $20 left. You're like, sometimes you need to hit 0, and then you feel like you can do the restart.
Yeah.
So this is like a point of progress for me where like I left $20 in my account before I went to sleep. You know what I mean? I'm giving myself a fair shot at these $5
Always
games.
leave yourself out.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
I'm giving myself a fair shot.
yeah, I played a 10, I played a 10 and lost it. I'm like, all right, whatever. Down to the last 5, and I lose, and I start bawling. I'm just like, that was when it hit me. I'm like, when I lost all like the big spots, whatever, I lose this last $5. I was just like crying, and that someone writes in the person I played in chat goes like, "You played well though." And yeah, fucking take it.
Oh my God.
But I didn't know if you were like citing that for a second, but yeah, I was just mostly playing Heads Up Raz and then and some horse here and there. But yeah, he took me to the Horseshoe. First time I played bigger live game. Wound up playing 3-handed with this lady named. What are you laughing at?
I'm just imagining when you have the last $20, you're like, okay, look, I've learned my lesson. I have some money left in the bank, and then you have no money left in the bank. You're just sitting there, you're like,
yeah,
it's all over.
Yeah, I'm picturing Berkey when he busts out of his tournament and he's got what's it called playing in the background?
Dermot?
No, what's the band?
Leroy.
Yeah,
Towns.
Yeah, Leroy Towns. It's like the most depressive fade to black music of all time. Like a little pop-up shows up and it's like, congratulations, you reached Silver Star. You're busted. And then like he just sits there and he's like, well, just short of the money. And then I guess we're gonna call it a day here. And then it's got like that cornfield music just like playing in the background. It's like the most brutal shit of all time, and you love it. You just like grind along to it.
I'm here
like
for the pain, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. That's the only thing that was probably missing from that scenario, I think. But
We'll talk about life playing in the background.
Yeah. So I wind up playing a Horseshoe 3-handed with a couple very interesting characters. Anyhow, at one point, one of the interesting characters that I'm playing 3-handed with, we were playing 5-handed at the time, goes like Feltz, and the other one says, hey, well, he's like, can anyone loan me some money or whatever? And the other person who I wound up playing 3-handed was like, hey, Brandon, why don't you, he'll write you a check. He's good for it. Give him some money, whatever. So I already am loaning a stranger money.
Right.
On the request of another regular who knows this person already. We play 3-handed, break even. They just go to war, and it's like 7 a.m. and I've got to wait for like the shuttle home. And the guy I loaned money to was like, "I'll give you a ride home." He's an older gentleman or whatever, and I'm in my early 20s or whatever. And I've just played my first, bigger, I guess, for me, poker session live.
This sounds like it's about to spin into a Sandusky scenario.
It was super sketchy or whatever. And I'm like, hey, he's like, where do you live? And I'm like, well, could you just take me to the train stop or whatever? And he's having a very personal phone call with his doctor about a very personal issue. And then he's like, these people are really good here. I don't know if this is the industry that you want to start integrating yourself into. I don't know if you're cut out for this game or whatever, which is, of course, like fueled the spite for me.
Right.
But it was an experience. Like I got lent someone money in a car with a strange older man at 7 a.m. for a long session, and being told that I probably don't belong in these games by the person who. By the VIP in the game.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's all on your bingo card.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, but did the check cash?
It did clear. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Silver lining. I appreciate you looking for the silver lining and all the depressive talk. That was nice.
I mean, we were 100% like on the verge of hearing no. Like we thought that was the answer was no.
Yeah, I thought the check was gonna bounce and you got diddled on the ride home.
I'm sure there's another parallel universe where
that happened.
Yeah.
Or you don't get the ride home and he's like, oh yeah, let's go wait over by that tree over there.
Yeah.
I'll come pick you up in 3 hours.
Yeah.
So now you're a professional.
Yeah.
You're fucking grinding.
Yeah. I've had that like live experience. I got faded the molestation, check cleared.
You're just a consummate professional now.
Hey, if you haven't done it already, will you just click the like button, please? Like, I know I'm fucking brutal, but like, Spike click the like button because you had to listen to this shit.
Spike slam that like button.
Oh man.
Please hit that fucking like button. Subscribe. Give us some love. We're here. We're here for you.
Yeah.
We got BSH in the fucking house.
Mm-hmm.
So, wrapping around to poker. You take your first trip to Vegas, and it seems like you never left. I looked at your Hendon mob, and it's like, all right, I think you came in like 2010. Played some events around town. Nothing World Series poker. 2011, you come, and you final tabled an event. And then from there, it's every year. WSOP, WSOP, WSOP.
Yeah.
You just became a mixed game goat from there.
No, but I definitely fell in love with like the whole summer camp aesthetic, and also like the reprieve from the cash game grind. Like one of the big reasons I don't play tournaments at all, aside from WSOP, is because I want like it to feel fresh for me. I want it to feel like a different experience from, I'm grinding cash games like all year round, and this is a different format. It's gonna challenge me, and I get to play against everybody and whatever. That's exciting to me. So,
Okay. Yeah, so it come around to like what, 2000 I want to say it was 2011, your big year?
14, yeah.
14?
I think 2012. I think I played just like a handful of events. 2012, before that, 2012 I final tabled stud 8, took third. And then 2014 was feeling really good about things. I moved into Steve's recording studio at the time. I was living in one of the spare rooms. I was just kind of in between a move, and WSP was coming up. And he was just like, dude, yeah, just come stay here, whatever. And it was fucking amazing. Like those were like some of the best times of my life for sure. And I've like a lot of the things that I've done to my apartment, like there's a silkscreen, a poster maker for bands named Jay Ryan. And Steve's recording studio is kind of like flooded with them. And like I have a lot of prints up in my place now to remind me of how that time felt. Like that was a really positive time in my life. Bands like flooding in and out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of amazing people were just playing poker, eating food, and those were really great times. So I was in a really good headspace, and don't normally do this, but like they do like the 25K fantasy draft every year for WSOP stuff. Mm-hmm. And I put something out. I wasn't really on Twitter, but I'm like, hey, if you're looking for a dark horse, I really think I'm going to do well. Kind of and in conviction, if you will, from your spot, like just really felt good about things, kind of called a shot. Started a 2+2 thread in their like blog kind of section, poker goals and challenges or something like that.
Yeah.
Called win a WSOP bracelet to sell on eBay. Yeah, something like that. And like the premise was like you win a bracelet and then you sell it. Like what's like the appropriate celebration for winning like a chintzy fucking WSOP poker bracelet? Like the appropriate response is to sell it on eBay, spend all that money on Haribo gummy bears, and like violently shit your brains out for the next like 3 days. So that was supposed to be like that was like the premise for it.
That was your pitch.
Yeah, that was the pitch. And then like wound up binking my first event, which was at the time like the biggest low stakes like PLO tournament that had gone off.
So 1K.
Yeah. So won that bracelet and then decided to play way more events, and it went well.
Did you sell it on eBay?
Ooh, I know. It's got to happen. Yeah, I dropped the ball there. I will, I think, wind up selling a link, and like Steve did a really nice thing. I don't know if this is like fast forwarding or spoilers or what. Steve won his second bracelet this past year in horse, and when he won the bracelet, like I went to give him a hug and he dropped it and it fell apart.
Oh no!
Yeah, get your shit together, Jetsons. What's going on here? So, he wound up just keeping the middle part for himself and then cutting links and putting like little push pins in the back so you can like wear a link if you want or whatever, and sending it to like his friends who had a piece, which I thought was really nice. So. Probably just like follow suit. I think that was a really nice move. Do the same thing and put one link on eBay, and then like commit to a violent day of shitting myself. Like, you got to follow through. I appreciate the accountability. Thank you for asking. I do need to hold myself accountable. Yeah.
So, I mean, that summer didn't stop at that 1K. You got second in the 10K 7-card Raz. You got third in the 1500 limit hold'em. And then you got second in the fucking 50K PPC.
Wow.
How did that feel?
It's really kind of surreal, but like during that time, I just had my phone shut off. I didn't want to like look at any Twitter thing, didn't want to interact. Like when you're navigating WSOP, a lot of it is just preserving your mental stamina. Like initially you come in with like the idea that you're going to stay in shape, eat really good food, eat clean, blah, all this shit. And then eventually you need to sacrifice like literally everything in order to just be able to wake up for the goddamn limit hold'em tournament the next day after you've like bricked for 2 weeks straight. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe it's going to take a bear suit. It might take the fucking bear suit. So, it was just kind of like zombie mode all the way through it. But when I did make the final table of PPC, like that was dream tournament for me. And it was like as badly as I've played throughout my career, like that was one tournament that like I really gave my best in. That year I played with some people I really respected. Doyle Oppenheim for the first time, and he like came up to me and said some really nice things, and it really meant a lot to me because
he's a legend.
He's so fucking good at poker.
He was like, you know, just like, who are you? Blah, 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 you know, like just whatever. I really it meant a lot to me.
Yeah, the curiosity peak is good.
Yeah.
And then, well said. So, and then that final table came around, and that was like the first time where I just kind of like didn't talk to anybody and just kind of kept my head down. During breaks, I'd go to the ramp behind All American Dave's and just kind of like lay down there, decompress, again, not look at anything. And then this was the first time, like you can kind of feel when people are like watching you a little bit or whatever. And I just didn't want to buy into any, like I realized that I'm on a heater. 2, I'm unknown. I'm going to get away with a lot of things that people who don't know my game aren't going to be able to get away with. That's like definitely something I would advise to any person who's like entering their first WSOP or whatever, where people don't know who they are. If you're a creative player and you make moves, like one, there's this element where a lot of really good players think you're not capable of doing them. And so they will give you like folds based on ego. Like you're just not like, I can do this, but you can't do this. And 2, in limit games, there's also another point where like ego aside, when you're playing limit games, like the bets that you save and the bets that you win, that's like your profit. That's how that's how you're making money. So sometimes you have to fold when you're getting like insane odds to call. So the more refined players who might not have an ego are still conditioned to be like, no, most of the time it's always the nuts, even though this is like a huge spot and we're really fucking deep and I should probably call this one off getting whatever. Like, I'm just going to make the fold. It's too obscure. Like they always have it. And then make the fold and whatever. So, coupled with understanding that I'm running very well, I'm getting away with a lot that, once people start understanding how I'm playing, I'm probably not going to get away with as much. I was just kind of I didn't want to buy into any of it. And then during the final table of the 50K, I looked up, we were in the Thunderdome, and just like everyone was in the seats. And it was just so cool because a lot of times it's like empty. And it was like kind of a nice way to let myself validate so much work in this series. Like just give myself like, fucking enjoy it. Like when I won the bracelet, I didn't enjoy it. Like I felt bad for the guy I lost to. I sucked out like to win. Like I still would have had chips, but like I got it in like ace, king, king. He had aces. And he grinded from like a fucking nub, like in the last day and wound up, making it all the way to heads up. Felt bad for the guy. And then I know it was the first event. No one was there to celebrate. A few of my friends were there, which was really nice. But like when it ended, I got no joy from it. Like that bracelet photo, it looks fucking fake to me. I'm just like trying to smile. I felt bad for this fucking guy. I'm ready to play fucking Raz. Like I'm gonna late reg. I want to late reg Raz or whatever. This was like, then eventually like I've learned to understand that like based on, I know this is tangential. I'm sorry. I'm all over
you're
the
good.
place,
You're
but
good.
like,
This is what we do.
But based on like my interactions with people who have been recreationals in this game for a long time, who dream about winning a bracelet, guys like Chad Brown, who are great ambassadors for the game. No matter like how stuck he was just always like a complete gentleman. All he wanted was WSOP bracelet. Got cancer. They gave him like a commemorative bracelet, like when he was in his hospital bed. And like having that kind of not finding the word I'm looking for, but just being at that point of reference, I suppose, when it comes to like the idea of winning a bracelet, has helped me try to appreciate it a little bit more. Before I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, man, like these people who I really care about and some great people that I've played with, like really live for this. Like I really need to like appreciate this a little bit more than I did at first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where the goal for me was like win a bracelet. Don't wear that shit ever. When I'm 80 years old playing 50 cent a dollar live, and some young fucking Landon raises my blind, I'm gonna shake that motherfucker at him, and then I'm gonna fold my hand. But he knows he's fucking with a bracelet winner. He's not gonna roll the dice there. Leave my blind alone. Anyways,
How did you not win Player of the Year this year?
This year?
No, the year that this 2014.
yeah, like well,
Were you close?
yeah, I was winning in America. It's funny because my friend Matt Ashton was winning the year before in America.
I know. I was competing with him that year.
I
I got third.
Oh, sick.
Actually, I might have got slightly worse, but
That's so hard in No Limit.
I made 3 final tables.
Wow.
3 final tables. I had third, and fifth.
Fuck.
That's so good.
Yeah. So going into the main event, a deep run could have cinched it for me, but
Damn.
I just
You didn't go to.
I didn't even cash.
You didn't go to Paris or whatever.
No, I think by the time the main event ended, who won it? 2013. It was the year after Greggy.
Bioscience?
Yeah, it might have. No, that was 2011.
It wasn't Jakobsen?
Oh no, it was I'm the greatest ever. Come on, help me out here, Reese. I think he won it once.
Is that what he said?
Yeah,
That's
he
free
won it in a
base.
Detroit Lions shirt, and he goes, "I'm the best No Limit player of all time."
That's so base.
I mean, to be fair, he lived up to it. He's very good.
Yeah, of course.
But like, yeah, once the main event had concluded, the race was kind of like, it was very clear that I was out of contention. I don't think I finished in the top 3. I was just like top 3 going into the main event.
Damn. It sucks too because like all those like extracurricular events overseas don't have anything but No Limit. So
Yeah,
like,
I didn't even play that big of a schedule. I only played like 20 events. But
damn.
just
it's funny because I felt the same way. Like where you don't realize how difficult it is to get that far, and like I didn't even bother like adding in events that I probably wouldn't play until I went to Australia. And then Matt Ashton was winning in 2013, wound up losing to Negreanu in Paris, Red Balloon for Matt. And then I was winning in America, and I took second to Danzer, who won in the 10K Raz. So me losing the 10K Raz, which was my best event, to Danzer, pretty much kind of like that was the difference maker. But
and he had a good WSOP Europe, if I recall. That year
I think he won like 2 bracelets in the States, and then like won in Europe, or maybe he won 2 in Australia. It was Australia.
Oh, okay.
Sad 5. Right?
Sad 5 that.
Man, can we bring back WSOP Australia? Fuck.
That sounds amazing.
It's nice over
Australia's
there.
nice, man. It's so nice. Go on. Sorry.
No. I agree. So it's funny. I had a trip planned to New Zealand after that, which I hear is like fucking beautiful.
I've gone to Australia once, and we spent a week in Queenstown. Incredible. New Zealand. It's remarkable too, because we were there during the Aussie summer, obviously, for like Australia Millions or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah. And awesome, it's 105 degrees in Melbourne. You go to Sydney, it's like 95, whatever. You go an hour and a half north up to New Zealand, and it was like 65.
No way.
It was wild.
Yeah. Is it like just? Is it
it's very mountainous.
Okay,
yeah, it's very mountainous. Beautiful land, though. Good.
So, yeah, I was too demoralized to go to New Zealand. I was just like, I had to get out of there. I wound up final tabling a No Limit event in Melbourne, and then and I busted like 6 or something like that. Dancer won a bracelet, and went really deep in their main. Casella got me. He spite got me. We played a hand in the 50K at the final table, and I either knocked him out or I won a big hand that I felt like he had no business being in. And then he was like, and then he told me, he was like, you put the worst fucking beat on me at the final table, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't think you weren't supposed to be playing that. I don't know. I'm like, it's just crazy to see it, like, here, like,
Yeah.
how did you beat me in this fucking hand, blah, 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 this shit. Like, he's got it out for me or whatever. And I love Frank. But we were like deep, and I think I 4-bet jammed jacks or something like that, and he called off with an ace-9 and for a bunch, like really deep, and then binked the ace or whatever.
So
and he's
rich.
like, I don't feel bad at all. Like, he's like everyone knew I was going for a player of the year, and I had to get like second or something like that. Like, I don't feel bad at all or whatever. And so like my last shot was like the 25K no limit high roller, which I never was planning on playing, but everyone was just like, play it. And got like 2-outed on river, getting all the chips or whatever, and that was just kind of the end of the dream. Danzer won, so balloon me. So Matt and I have pictures standing next to like our respective like extracurricular pure winners, being the representative from America, WSOP POY America or whatever, with our fucking balloons looking sad.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's great. We were gonna like make little banners and like hide them behind the big ones or whatever. You know what I mean? Honorary mention banners.
Yeah.
That's great. That's
It was a cool experience.
right. I know I tied up a lot of the questions and stuff. Do you guys have anything for Brandon?
Oh, so many, but none to ask today. I think that we've just scratched the surface.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like personally, like I just got to know you well over the last year, and I think that you're a very intriguing individual. Like, I think
That was a very polite way of thank you. Appreciate it.
you're also very self-deprecating.
Yes, the most.
But no, I think that, like, if you guys haven't already watched the episode of, sorry, I keep forgetting the name.
No, last call.
Call.
Yeah, these
Last
guys.
call.
It's a Finnish group, and they were like so. I want to like give them massive credit. Like they came with a vision, and they were so determined to fit this storyline that involves Steve and I, like our getting into poker, how we got into poker, how we met, our adventures within poker, our just dumb bullshit that we do, highlighting some of our friends, mixed games in general, and they really wanted to make sure that they told an accurate story, like no bullshit, and they had to do a lot of fucking editing. Like my ass was every like half hour they're like, Steve was sitting in the recording studio waiting to go on, and like 4 hours have passed and he's kind of over it, and he definitely should have gone first or whatever. They're like, just another half hour, and there's like another like 4 fucking hours, and eventually he's like, sorry guys, got to call it a day here. Like I don't know, we just talked for forever. So they have a ton of footage, and they really condensed everything down to a succinct way that told the full story, came with a vision, and really wanted to, like, we fucking emptied out the entire external hard drive trying to find like B-roll footage and just everything. And I really appreciate, like, this might, like, I know that I'm not everybody's, like not everybody is for everybody. My friend Tim says this. I think it's like really well said. I'm not for everybody or whatever. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. It's just the truth. Like, so I realized that, like, not everybody wants to hear about fucking balloon weirdo. They should all want to hear about Steve, because he's so fucking incredible. And a lot of these guys who are featured are really great characters. And mixed games are really fun. But what was my point?
I'm not sure.
I just want them to. I think like. My point was that, like, Steve and I both. This is like one of the nicest things that anyone's done for us personally. Yeah. And so I wanted to get them to have the credit that they deserve for all the work that they did and being so thoughtful with everything. And personally, I'm just very grateful for them giving us this like time capsule to commemorate my friendship.
Yeah. It's kind of brutal because it's incredibly well shot. The story is very well told, and this type of content just doesn't perform as well as it should, which is unfortunate. Like, not enough eyeballs will get on it. So I hope that, like, you being here promoting it a little bit kind of gets some more viewership to it. Yeah. For me personally, like, as fascinating as the friendship between you and Steve is, and how easy it is to get engulfed in Steve's backstory, knowing you personally, it was eye-opening to kind of hear more of your backstory, like childhood, how you got into music, how you were raised. There was, some
We're similar.
there were a lot of things that I could connect to there. And I think that that's the thing that I appreciate about you as a human the most is you're one of the most authentic people that I know.
Appreciate
And you're
that.
very
Thanks.
open and vulnerable and warm in spite of the self-deprecation. And you're always willing to bring yourself down a level almost in order to have an exchange with another person. So like that's why I say I think this is like the tip of the iceberg, because I think that there's a lot more to unpack, and it should be interesting to viewers. But
Thanks.
we don't have the extra 8 hours right now.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that, and thanks for I really appreciate my friendships within this group, and also really appreciate the opportunity to help talk about this experience and the Finnish. There's some regulations for the Finnish guys where they're not able to, for one reason or another, promote this project at all.
Really?
So they're kind of getting fucked over, which makes me. I don't like soliciting things or whatever.
Yeah.
We were all going to talk at some point anyways, because I love you guys, and I really value our friendships.
That was what I told Landon.
but-
He's like, you reached out to Brandon to do this? I go, no. And I feel so awful because it's like such an obvious person to have on as a guest anyway. And it took like you reaching out to me to kind of like shill something. I'm like, I'm such an idiot. Like, of course, come on. Like, I mean, this is a no brainer.
No, I'm always worried I'm going to burn someone's project down, and I don't want to be like whatever. But
That's the goal,
Don't
man.
worry, I'm here. I'm in this seat. We're ready to burn shit down. Like, we're lighting shit on fire.
Yeah,
we got a
someday-
fucking gas can running around this bitch with a lighter, seeing if it can go on fire.
One of these days, we'll have to have like a little musical melody. You can come and play the keyboard. Conrad can play his fiddle.
You guys already know the fiddle get it popping, baby.
I know 3 chords on the guitar, so.
And I can play the recorder,
I like it.
which is, Conrad's fiddle.
No, it is not. Stop fucking disrespecting the fiddle like that, all right?
Do you know what a fiddle looks like?
Dude, we relax, all right? Nobody asked you.
You ever heard the song?
Devil went down to Georgia.
You ever hear the song
Don't
Devil
rate
Went
me.
Down to Georgia? No, of course you did.
Or what type of white shit you just said? Never crack. What?
The
The
legendary
Devil
song.
Went Down to Georgia.
You've heard
The
Charlie
devil
Daniels.
went down to Georgia.
Yeah, Charlie Daniels band.
I guarantee you heard that song.
Oh,
I
You
guarantee
had
you
to
he has
somewhere
not.
along the line.
Everybody's heard the fiddle battle, man. Everybody's heard it.
Yeah.
Nobody-
Zach Brown band covered it.
Nobody has ever heard fucking the devil went down to Georgia on the fucking Mississippi River or something like that. All right. Well, this isn't going to be the last time we see you. You'll be back in 11 days. 'Cause
What's in 11 days?
part 2 of his
Oh.
docu-series comes out in 11 days, apparently, 10 days.
Okay.
So we'll have you here in 11. And we're gonna dig a little bit deeper each time. Because, you are very interesting. And
Well, you guys are all very interesting, so I would like to just be able to have conversations with you guys. That's not as focused.
My
on
mission every
shit,
time I
but
have a
like-
guest in is to talk them into starting their own podcast.
I ain't got time for that shit.
I mean, we'd love to have you on. Just come hang out with us. Forget all the
anytime.
docu-series. Whenever you
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
come,
But
whenever
I'm
you
down
feel
to
like
do
leaving
that.
your house, you let me know.
This
Thank
can this can be the end in corner now.
I like that.
Wow.
Is that one clothing brand like not being promoted anymore?
True Classic?
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to say it.
Oh no, it's fine. We sell our sponsorship weekly.
Yeah, I was just curious. I don't know. I'm not folding. I'm not folding on lock. I'm all in. I don't know. I'm a big fan of that.
I'm all in on true.
man.
What is it? True Classic.
I just want to memorize it. Yeah, I want to memorize like the line. I don't know. I was really hoping to experience that one in person. Honestly, but,
It was
like,
a very good read.
okay.
It was an enjoyable read.
no, but thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. And if you listen to the thanks to the chat. Like I think chat is like cracks me the fuck up. If you said terrible things about me, like
This isn't
I'm not
Joey's
folding
chat.
on the
You're
chat.
safe.
I'm not
You're
folding on the
safe.
chat. Yeah, like I'm in. I'm for it. Yeah.
Well,
Thanks,
chat,
guys.
Chat loves you, man.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time
Everyone
to
loves
listen.
you. You're a very authentic person. You're awesome. So
Closing the umbrella.
the umbrella is closing. If you haven't already, go on over to WPT Global. Give them a download. Every single day, they're giving away a seat. They're sending over 150 people to the WPT Championship. Don't miss out on your chance.
Don't miss out on that shit.
Don't miss out on your chance. If you are not in the United States, you can play today. Do what you got to do, guys. You already know. Please like, subscribe, leave us a comment.
Tell us which parasol was your favorite.
Yeah. Well, you're the only one with the parasol. We have umbrellas, like true G's. You know what I mean?
So, parasols move in silence.
Yeah, the parasol is doesn't give a fuck what the umbrellas have to say.
That is true. That is
Yeah.
true. That is a good, very
Never
good
gave one
point.
fuck on this podcast.
Yeah.
That's right, respect.
Thank you very much for coming to hang out with us, Brandon.
Thank
It
you.
was a pleasure.
Thank you.
We'll
Mike.
have you on soon.
Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. Love you guys.
Late on that note, we're out.
Peace.